Hey everyone, it's Allison from AllisonRays.co, and today I'm doing another interview. I'm super excited to be talking to a friend and client, Kim Calderon. She has a website that is a Being Creative Designs where she sells licensed printables. The problem was before working with me, she was struggling to make enough money to keep it going. She was making $200 a month, but that wasn't really enough to change her life in a meaningful way. So she joined my program and she just had an $1,100 launch. If you guys want to know how she did it, how she got unstuck, the shifts that she made, then just keep watching. Hey, Kim. I'm so excited that you're here, and I really just want to kind of uncover and dig into your story today. So why don't you just kind of kick us off by giving us some background onto how you got into blogging and selling printables in general?
Okay. I had a job that required me to work 60 plus hours a week originally.
Whoa.
And it was a lot of traveling. So I was kind of going back and forth around the US a little bit. But some days would be 12 plus hours because I'd have to drive an hour to and from work. And so I decided I had a lull in my contract and I was like, I need something to fill this void of trying to have more of a creative outlet. So I just started blogging and I thought it was very interesting. Little did I know the amount of work that actually that is actually involved in it. So I, over time, trial and error, all that, realizing my husband, Jeremy, he does graphic design and illustration. And I wanted him to be a part of what I was doing. So I was having him create the printables for my blog at the time. And I got really good responses. And I was like, this is easy for me because I have someone to help me do it. And so over time, he's taught me graphic design. So I'm able to still create a lot on my own, but he still does a lot of it too. And so we decided people need help. So because it's time consuming if you want to do it right versus just throwing something up real quick that may or may not have a good reaction with your audience. And design wise, a lot of people we've been noticing have, they're more visual. So they need help. They want something real pretty, real elegant, that kind of thing. And they won't opt into your stuff if it doesn't look good, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, and actually,
it's just, it doesn't look good. It's the sad truth of it. And
so speaking of that, can you kind of define for people who don't know, what is a commercially licensed, what is a printable in general? And then what do you do? What is a commercially licensed printable?
Printables in general are they can be PDF documents of a planner. They can be your opt-in for your blog, like a checklist, that kind of thing. So people can print it at home and actually utilize the content that's in it. It's not just something they look on screen. So if they're more people who want something physically in their hands, they can actually use it. And so what we do is with the commercial printables, we create this design for you, a design that, we put all the thought in for the content. You don't have to do a crazy amount of research if you don't want to, figuring out okay, this person likes to budget this way. This person likes to plan that way with their goals. We kind of trial and error and figured it out for you. And we put a design on top of it. So all you have to do is basically purchase the design, download it, and you can put it on your website, start selling it to your audience, give it away for free, however you want to do it. So the license allows you to make a profit off of our work.
Yeah. So basically, the way that I think of it is I get to sell something to my list that I own and that I position as mine, that I developed, but I didn't have to do any work to develop it.
You can do it that way if you want, or you can say, hey, I have my designer do this, which technically we are your designer at that point.
Yeah. So I never said I created this. I just said I've been working on this.
It is. Honestly, it's you did do the work for it technically because you found out your audience actually needed that product.
Yeah.
You did put the work into figuring out what they need. So that's, you can claim it as your own. That's perfectly fine. You own the license at that point.
Yeah. So you got into this, you were working 60 hours a week and you realized that it wasn't sustainable. That was not the life you wanted to live. You got into selling these commercially licensed printables, which worked really well for you. Like it was definitely a need that people had that there wasn't really enough of in the market. But your income was kind of like stuck. So talk to me about like before working with me, or before, really not that it's like all my credit, but before like busting out of that cycle, like where were you getting stuck? Like where was your income at for a long time, and where were you getting stuck?
A lot of times, some months would be $200. I'd never go above 200. I did have one month where one person bought like $400 worth of stuff. But I was like, this ain't gonna ever happen again. And lo and behold, it didn't. So, but it was sometimes $0 to $10 a month, depending on how active I was trying to retain an income with it. So where I got stuck a lot was I would follow other people and try to mimic what they would do for selling printables. But the problem was they weren't selling printables commercially, so they weren't really tapping into my audience's needs. But they were selling personal use licenses, which, like anybody can download a planner and use it for their personal use versus actually reselling it. And so they understood their own tactics for selling their personal licensed stuff. So that was where I was mostly stuck. And
it was like trying to copy people that it wasn't quite your audience or your niche. So you really needed like customized feedback, really. Yeah. And so what was the moment where you realized that you wanted help or outside feedback? Or because I remember the first time we talked, it was kind of like, I need something to work. I remember you saying that, where you just were like, obviously at the end of your list, you're like, something has to work or I'm done. So like what happened to make you have that feeling? And then what made you willing to take
a lot of hormones during my pregnancy.
Okay.
I was telling my husband, Jeremy, I was like, man, I really want this to work because I hate my day job. Like, I don't like despise it, but it's not a creative outlet. It's not helping people that I want to help. It's helping my boss's pocket. And so I was just like, I need this to work. I'm tired of trucking along, hoping that it'll work. And so I've been following you for a while. I know we messaged back and forth a couple times beforehand. And then finally, like probably the week or two before my daughter was born, I was like, I got to do something. Like, this is killing me. I'm like putting all this effort in, and I'm getting like zero return. I'm tired of it, giving away too much stuff for free.
Yes.
And I'm working on that. And I'm like, I like giving stuff out for free, but I would get like no feedback. People just take and take and take. And, I'm still okay with it, but not all the time like I was doing before.
Yeah. And so you ended up joining the Monetization Accelerator Program, which is my blog coaching program. And early on, like you had something we were going to sell, but the big problem we had to fix is like, we need to build your audience and we need to sell way more of this. And so talk to me about like what changes you started making in the program that led to this $1,100 launch you just had.
A lot of it was mindset and really honing in on my market research. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is I'd go into Facebook groups and ask, hey, what type of printables do you like? Honestly, like what design styles do you like? And really I was basing it off of what I liked and not really what my audience liked as a whole. So I still have a mix of different styles, but I've been noticing a lot of minimal styles have been the primary style that everybody likes. So we've been focusing more on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so talk to me about the mindset piece, because I think a lot of people join any program for the strategies, and part of the problem is always like the mindset, like the strategy won't work without the mindset. So what changes have you made in your mindset?
Money is a big change, because I've always tried to be humble with money. Like, okay, I don't need this. I'm giving it out for free. It's fine. They need it more than I do, kind of thing. I'm like, but I need an income. So if I want to make this work, I have to financially make it feasible. So, and it's like, I'm not greedy with money. I just want to be able to have it sustain my way of living for me and my family. So that was a big concern, because that's probably why I kept giving stuff out for free a lot. So,
Yeah.
because it's like, unfortunately I need an income. So that
Unfortunately
we have to have money. So that was a big mindset change. And also just being more me, ultimately, not piggybacking off of others' success, basically.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that I came to a realization at the beginning of the program. Like, I'm doing what other people are doing. I'm not being me. I'm taking their advice and like how I want to handle my business. So, and listening to your advice on, what is the most viable way to get something out there, I was like, it's just doing it and not getting sucked into all these other courses and suggestions, and it's just really just doing it. And that was, I think, attributed a lot to the beginning stages and the success I had. So
yeah, that's amazing. I love what you said about like just it's like not kind of narrowing your focus on like who am I and what am I doing and let me just do that. It's really similar to something that Samantha said, who I interviewed on Monday, which is her sales increased the most when she finally just started being fully herself, which is like, like loud and bold and high energy. And she was really like pulling that back initially, but the more she steps into that, the more people like they vibe with her. And what you're doing is so unique and so cool. And like, it's a no-brainer, because really it's like, oh, I get to make money or build my email list with something that didn't take a lot of effort for me. So talk to me about your, just a couple other questions. I want to know if you have anything you want to share about like your launch strategy in particular. And then then I have one more question. So talk to me about like your launch, like how did you prepare for your launch and what did you do? What do you feel like led to having such a big launch with a pretty small list?
Well, I think it helped a lot that I was part of a bundle recently. So it boosted my list up a lot, because I started with like 330 people on my list, which wasn't a whole lot. So I wasn't really expecting a good income return from that, unfortunately. But then all of a sudden, like within 2 weeks, I got like 1,000 people on my list plus. Yeah. So I was like, yes. So bundles work, people. So if you can be part of bundles, do it. Because if you need
your list,
need a good boost, they are honed into your topic because they are signing up for a bundle you're a part of. Be a part of it if you can. Also, I did a rebrand of everything. So noticing my colors were too bright. People weren't really responding well to it, even though I like bright colors. Other people didn't care for them. And I noticed less is more ultimately. So the less you have that's too in people's face, the better response you have, because they can imagine that they have that product on their site. They can like really relate to it better, because if you have colors that don't match well with your products that are in the background of it, then people kind of get turned off by it, I noticed. So I did a rebrand. And then also I emailed every day for the time period of my launch, and that helped a lot. And then also I did a store-wide discount, let alone, and also a new product that I featured. So, and I got probably about half of my income was based on the discount in the store. They bought a bunch of other products, and then they also bought my new product as well. So I had it wasn't just focused on one product. It was focused on multiple ultimately. So I think that helped a lot.
That's amazing. So what advice do you have? Like, obviously this is just the beginning for you, because now we want to work on stacking your income and having more offers and more launches without expending more energy. So I'm excited about your next launch, but talk to me about any advice you have for people who are stuck like you were.
Really, implementation is the hardest when first getting started blogging, because you feel like you're being pulled in about 50 different directions. and you're listening to everybody else talk about what they did right. And really and this program has obviously it's helped me a lot, because I've been blogging for almost 3 years, and just now I'm making a decent income with it, because I actually focused and honed in on something I needed to get done. So having personal coaching help, all that, I think is the best strategy for people if they can afford it.
Yeah.
Because then
I'm biased, but yeah.
Yeah, you're listening to one person versus listening to about 5 different people that you look up to, because all have different opinions. They may kind of be the same, but ultimately they're not there to hold your hand through it too and keep you accountable. So, and you can get distracted real easily. And that's what I kept doing. I kept going to the next shiny object and not really mastering one. I just go to the next thing. So that's my advice, is just really focus on what you want. And I think coaching is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
If you can do it, get a coach.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it definitely made the biggest difference for me. That's why I'm so passionate about the like high touch approach. And I like courses too. I sell courses, I buy courses, but usually when I want a quick result for something, I'll still just find someone to teach me one-on-one and get it over with. Cool. Anything else you want to share? This has been like really, really helpful. So just to kind of recap, Kim's story, she was kind of stuck around $200 a month, but she knew that that she wanted to leave this job where she was working 60 hours a week. She kept following other people who were kind of like her, but not totally like her. So some of the shifts that she made was really diving into market research instead of looking at a bunch of other people who were like her, asking people in her community what they wanted. That was huge, because you got feedback where people were like, yeah, I just want this. And if you make this, I'll buy it from you. And then people did. Focusing on one strategy is a huge piece of advice that you gave. Like just picking one way and then going that way, and like getting all the way down the road with that direction. And then of course, like the income stacking piece comes in when you continue to launch. And then what was the last piece of advice you have? Oh, getting customized feedback can be really helpful. If you can afford it, getting a coach to give you that direction instead of having to rely on a bunch of courses that you may or may not finish. Is there anything else you want to
add? Just be you.
Yeah, just be you. That was the other great piece of advice. 2000% you. I love it. Very good. I dropped an affiliate link. I'm an affiliate for Kim's program. She is, of course, a client, and I also really believe in her offer. So that is in the description. If you guys have questions for Kim or for me, you can comment down below, and we will get back to you. Thank you so much again, Kim, for joining me today, and I will talk to you soon.